Good afternoon. It is a surprise edition of Insurance Questions Podcast with Sassy Sarah. Sarah, I think this should be our maybe podcast. Maybe we'll talk about insurance. Maybe we'll talk about taxes. Maybe we'll talk about how crazy our life is. Maybe we'll make the announcement of all the crazy things that we found out yesterday.
I will let you take the crazy announcements. I like that one.
So yesterday it was episode 56. Well, I gotta start like we always do. Episode 57 of Insurance Questions Podcast. It's April 10th, 2024. I'm your buddy Eddie Buffalo. That's Sassy Sarah. And all the opinions given on this show are solely that of Eddie Buffalo and Sassy Sarah. Under our listing on YouTube, we're considered entertainment. Are we entertaining? I think we're
So, yes, it is entertainment, and it's mainly because you can't provide this kind of advice.
infotainment.
Infotainment's better, but remember to like, subscribe, and follow. You need to add that to your little tagline.
So we were convincing about it last week because our rankings on the different search bots weren't really great. I mean, we were around 2 and 3 on a lot of them, and we're like, do we pay for it or we just let it go organically? So we just let it go. And while I was processing the show yesterday, I was happy to see that on Google, on Yahoo, we're the #2 search insurance podcast. And the only reason we're not #1 on Yahoo is because that company pays to be #1. So we haven't paid a dime. This has all happened organically. We're #1 on Microsoft's Bing. We're #1 on Apple Safari. So you go Apple. And the big one, the daddy of them all, the OG, we are #1 on Google.
Heck yeah.
And what's really crazy is that in the first half hour of our show yesterday, we were at 147,000 listeners. So I'm super excited. I don't know why this is happening, but I want to thank all our listeners, because if you weren't listening, me and Sassy Sarah would not be doing this any longer,
Yes.
because she is like crazy busy with her life being a tax preparer right before April 15th. So, and I get to hear the stories, which are fabulous. We cannot repeat most of what that Sassy Sarah tells me, and that's okay.
Well, no, so here's the thing, the gist of it. So I came up with a nice thing that I'm going to say. So I go to a networking, I go to the networking meeting in downtown McKinney on Wednesday mornings.
Links.
Yes. So I thought of a funny thing I'm going to say. And I'm like, I've had clients come to me and they say, my current tax preparer, CPA, whatever, is horrible at responding and never gets back to me. So I'm going to say, I've noticed this year of all years, there's 2 types of people. The type of person who sends an email and waits for a week to respond.
Yeah.
And so that's #1. #2 is the person who emails, text messages, phone calls, and sends client messages in the client portal. Within a 3-day period, you probably have been reached out to 15 times. So the question is, are you the former or the latter? The former completely understand the frustration that you're having. The latter is more of, what can you tell your tax preparer on how to ease the anxiety to cause you to reach out that many times? Maybe that would fix the communication problem.
Is it part that they don't pay attention, Sarah?
It's a mixture. So I have somewhere it's the communication.
So
and then I have some you can
is the
tell
problem
it's
that they don't pay attention. They don't pay attention, Sarah.
You know what, Eddie?
Well, it's really cool that you have a portal, because the only time I've heard of something similar to that is my doctor back in Buffalo. They have a patient portal. A lot of doctors do, And I thought that was pretty cool that you actually have something like that. Have you always had that, or is that part of like one of the businesses that you've taken over, then you kind of like migrated that, or is that a Sassy Sarah original?
It's a Sassy Sarah original. I
Oh,
like the
cool.
idea of technology when it's useful. I have a lot of clients who want to meet a person and hand me paper, which is perfectly fine. And then I have others that are like, hey, I met you once. I'm just going to upload my stuff and we never have to communicate. We
Mm-hmm.
might send an email here and there. I'll review it, have questions, or I'll sign it and pay. So we do a little bit of a mixture. We don't force people to go online. I do have a lot of people who, a lot of firms, it's now going to start going more paperless.
I'm gonna subscribe to your newsletter. By the way,
There is no
it says,
newsletter right
there's a
now, but
typo
thank
on
you.
there. Did you read it? Look at the screen. Yo,
New
I,
letter.
I got to get on my new letter for Sassy Sarah. Let me tell you what.
So here's the thing is I don't have that service anymore, but they're still sending me the email. I tried taking it off. And I mean, I'm getting the email. I have a list of people, but I'm like,
Free work, Sassy Sarah. Free works.
oh,
I gotta
yes.
check my email now. I'm part of Sassy Sarah's thing. Yay.
That's one of the things is I want to have a blog and end up having like the informational emails you get. When it comes to the client portal though, that's more of if I send an email from there, it's, hey, it's tax season, get your stuff in. This is the
Oh,
cutoff
there
date kind
she
of
is
thing.
with the fancy hairdo again. Let me ask you this. And I see this a lot in our business. Do you ever have a problem that people are afraid to ask you questions?
Funny story. I met with a guy yesterday and it was
Mhm.
really heartbreaking to hear. The person I acquired the business from made him feel like an idiot and made his wife uncomfortable to ask
Oh, that's
questions.
too bad. I hate hearing stuff like that.
Oh yeah. So I thought he wanted me to prepare the return right there. And which I don't like to do. I like to do it separately. And if I have questions, um, but I was like, no, I get to meet him, whatever. And so we were talking. That breaks my heart because it's like you shouldn't be made to feel like an idiot. And he was like, basically had said, if he's doing something wrong, tell him he's an idiot. He's this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh no, if I find you doing something wrong, I'll tell you in a kinder way. You know, this is a joke. Which is funny. He took it that way. It was fantastic.
Mhm.
But we were talking about different deductions and things that are going on and what he can do. And he's like, oh, I can write that off. Oh, I can do this. Yeah. And I'm sorry you weren't told that before.
Well, it's funny, and it goes back to one of my mentors, John Foster. He kind of explained it this way to me. You know, Sarah, I don't know anything about taxes. I don't know what you do for a living. I mean, I know you do taxes,
Mm-hmm.
and I do stuff with insurance, annuities, and that's probably just about it. I mean, even my ex-wife, when I started in the business, she has a lot of insurance through her employer. And I said to her, what type of insurance do you have? And she's like, insurance. So there's so many people that, and it's okay, you don't need to know it. Goofy guys like me have to know about insurance and annuities, and goofy people like you have to know about insurance. No, not sure.
I
Taxes.
need to know how you write off insurance, not know about insurance.
That's pretty easy, Sassy Sarah. If you're in business for yourself, you have your business pay for your policy.
Yes, and did you also know that if you pay your premiums and medical bills, you can also add it to your tax return to write it off?
I did not know about medical bills. What do you mean?
Mhm.
Go
So
expound on that because that's interesting.
you can add it to the return. The problem is especially with medical bills, it has to surpass your standard deduction. So if you're someone who always goes to the doctor, you have expensive medical bills, it's important to say, hey, this is what I paid in copays. This is what I paid for prescriptions. This is
That's
what I paid
amazing.
for a hospital stay. This is my part of my premiums that I paid. I have long-term life insurance. This is what I
Yeah.
paid on that. If you drive to the doctor everywhere, this is how many miles I drove for medical. Now,
Really?
remember, the more things you deduct, the chances of the IRS wanting to look into that,
We got their magnifying glass out.
you want to make sure that everything is, you can back up. That's the important part.
Well, I got a crazy question for you.
Sure.
Okay. What about gym memberships? It's actually helping your health. And a lot of times, a lot of the different insurance companies give you a wellness card with X amount of dollars on it per year. Even though the insurance companies pay for it partially and you're paying for the rest out of pocket, is that deductible at all?
No.
Why? It's helping you be a healthier person. So,
That is a question you need to have with the IRS, and I suggest
No.
scheduling an appointment with the director.
No,
and
thank
having
you.
that
No, thank you.
conversation.
I'm okay never knowing that answer. 100%. I am okay with that. You know. So
Now, if you
how
have
old
a
is this
business,
picture? I'm like, hang on. How old is this picture we're looking at? Aiden looks like he's 2. And Sassy Sarah, who is that woman in red next to you?
the woman in red next to me is Robin.
Robin.
And
Who the heck is Robin?
So this was my ribbon cutting. That was what, 2 years ago, a year
Oh
and
my
a half
God.
ago.
Aiden got a lot taller than he is in there.
So yes, he had his adenoids and tonsils removed. So he shot up after.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Could you write that off?
I did not, because I didn't think of it. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
what
thought
are
about
other
going back and amending, but I'm like, whatever.
So what are other weird stuff that you can write off that people really don't understand that they'd be able to do so?
So it really comes down to case by case. Like I have one client, he has an airplane, but he like creates things and tests it on the airplane. He doesn't use it for personal use. But I mean, if you think of it, it's best to ask your tax professional if you can write it off, because it's better to hear no than not do it if you can.
So let me ask you this, case by case basis. I go to a gym and I go to a boxing gym. You can't
Mhm.
write that off. Say I got hurt at the boxing gym and I had a medical bill. I can write that off.
Yes, because it's a medical bill.
That's
That's a
amazing.
weird question, sir. Did you not hear what I said about medical bills?
But I just wanted to see, because it's coming from a gym activity. That's why I was wondering. I mean, your activity at the gym caused that medical thing.
True, but it was still a medical bill. It doesn't matter why it's caused. You can write off the medical bill.
So I got to tell everybody, we've had a chuckle to ourselves about our logo because we've been messing around with different logos over the past couple days because Sarah didn't like our anatomically correct Mr. Buffalo, which we didn't really notice it was a problem until we blew it up on
No,
Facebook.
no. You sent it to me, and I said this is going to be a problem. I guarantee you. That's like, it's going to be a problem. And you're like, no, it'll be fine. And then you added it to something that blew it up that circled around that area. So
I just shared our Patreon screen. What do you see, Sarah? Do you still see yours or do you see the Patreon?
I see the Patreon.
Sometimes with the technology we're using, it doesn't change for everybody else except for me.
So, and something else you might want to see is shrinking it to where she's making a banner instead of a logo so it doesn't get cut off.
That's a good idea. You know, it's really weird because the different technologies that we use, sometimes it'll let you do something like that. Some things, what I do is like I cut and paste it down on everything. And you know, I'm such a goofball that originally when I saw the logo that the Disney Princess Alexis made for us with that buffalo there with the microphone, and it's got all like the controls on the bottom. Like, why did she leave that? That's kind of weird. Not realizing that it's an audio thing. So that kind of made sense to me. Not too smart.
And sometimes it takes you a moment.
I'm a little bit extra, just so you know, and that's what me and Sassy Sarah will do for our clients. Go the extra mile because we are.
I see what you did
I was
there.
going with that.
That was pretty awesome.
No, right? I know, right?
I know, right? Oh my God.
So
Do you
what
want
do
to tell them about the situation of you thought you were just making a funny accent? What happened to you a few weeks ago?
you? So I'm new to the area that I'm in, and everybody knows I knew that horrible Texas accent. So there was a garage sale down by my apartment, and they had like end tables and stuff like that, and I'm always looking for a good deal. So I go up there, and first of all, the stuff looked like it was sitting out in the field for a while. I mean, there was mud on it, there was dirt, and the gentleman said just like this, can I help y'all? And I see how I'm looking at the tables. Can you tell? I'll tell you what, sir. Every one of them tables, whichever one you want, is $20. And I'll tell you another thing. You can flip that right over, and every single one of them say "Made in the USA." That's some good furniture right there, sir. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, pal. Yeah. And I walked away, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta stop that because people sound like this.
Because people actually talk like that. Who'd have thunk it?
And the one thing that cracks me up that Alexa, the Disney princess that does all our logos, she does the same thing Sassy Sarah does. When I say something ridiculous to you, what do you usually say to me?
Bless your heart.
No, it's an S
Uh,
word. Sir.
uh,
Sir.
yeah.
Is that a Southern thing too?
Yes, it's kind of like it depends on the context of the situation.
I mean, is it from a
So
movie? Is it from a TV show? Or
no, I just do it. So like I'll say it to older people out of respect. And then if somebody's being really a bless your heart moment, instead of saying bless your heart, I'm like, sir, ma'am, really? Yeah. So it just depends. I turn it into a bless your heart moment if you're being crazy. But that way you don't know I'm in my head, I'm saying bless your heart.
That is ridiculous. So I kind of like this today. Like our regular guest, for some reason, he's not here. So we decided to jump on and do a maybe podcast. And this is our second maybe podcast. Do you realize that?
Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe podcasts are fun because it's just all over the place.
And so everybody knows I already put a little idea in Alexa's ear, and she likes it. We're gonna be having "Who's Robin" t-shirt soon. That's number one. And number two, we're going to have Donnie Lowe on the down low. So I think those probably be selling more than Eddie Buffalo or Sassy Sarah. I'll tell you what. And I'm okay with that because that makes me laugh. you know? So what are you doing the rest of the day besides work and then calling me later and tell me how aggravated you are at the world?
Yes. My daily ritual for the past 3 weeks.
Do you
No, it's
drink
just
while you're working? Maybe you should.
no, because then I'll make a lot of errors. And if people really frustrate me, instead of me being very polite and saying, hey, I need you to provide me grace and be patient, I will say what I'm really thinking, and that would not be good for business. Because as my name says, I am sassy, but I know how to keep it professional sometimes.
Yes.
No, I might stop here soon. Aiden has to prepare. He should be going camping this weekend. And it works out because, I'm here. So I just got to make sure his all his supplies are together.
Well, I think that should be enough for our maybe podcast, unless there's anything else you'd like to talk about.
No, just remember, provide grace to people during their busy period.
Do what? Say again?
Provide grace to people during their busy period,
What?
such
Why?
as taxes.
Because they're
Or
eating?
I don't know if insurance has a busy period. Is there a certain time of year that you want to tell people, hey, give me a little bit of grace to get this stuff done?
Not really, but believe it or not, our December has been like crazy months for us every once in a while. Some people would think that because of, the holiday season that people don't think about insurance. They do, because what a lot of people don't realize, they're like, oh, I'm going to be a different age next year. Doesn't matter. 6 months before your real birthday, you're already that other age. So
You
instead
were
of
saying
rushing
that.
to the end of the year, but I'm not going to tell them that if they want to buy insurance. That's the one thing I won't tell you. You know, no, don't worry about it. You're good. You know, we got time, you know. But a lot of people, like with their New Year's resolutions and things like that, you know, I've been wanting to get insurance. I should get insurance. And I will tell you, and you can talk to anybody that has sold insurance for a while. If people start thinking about getting insurance for themselves and they put it
Mhm.
off and they don't do it, something bad always happens. I
Of
don't know
course.
why it is. It's like Murphy's Law. So, but I want to thank everybody once again. We wouldn't have this success if it wasn't for our listeners. So keep on listening, like and subscribe, tell your friends about us, like and share it. And for Eddie Buffalo and my partner in crime, Sassy Sarah, we'll see you all later. Tomorrow, pretty exciting. We're gonna have a show with Lori. She was my guinea pig way back when we started this journey. And we're gonna do a real show with Lori. She seemed pretty excited about it, you know. So what does Lori do again? She raises Bengal tigers.
Yes.
Do you get to pet them? Because I'm allergic to cats. I don't think that's gonna work. Good thing we're on the interweb. I'll tell
I
you.
mean, are they technically cats? Or are you how do you know you're not just allergic to house cats?
That's a good point. I've never petted a tiger or a lion. And I don't think I'm gonna do that either, Sassy Sarah, you
Are
know.
you sure? That sounds like
Well,
fun.
well, I'll tell you what, you do it first. Tell me how it works out, and then I'll follow you. All right.
Oh man, I was gonna have you do that first.
So
You beat me to it.
where is Robin anyways? Is she even there today?
She's right over here.
Hey, stick your head over here, Robin.
Robin, he wants to see you.
Oh,
Come,
he does.
come here, please, ma'am.
What'd she say? Ma'am, let me tell you what.
Ma'am, here, I'm gonna pull out my headphones. So
Oh.
now she
Hey, there she is. Robin, the girl wonder.
Yes.
So what's up, Robin? Are you losing your mind too?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you feel about your face being on t-shirts?
Sure. I think it's awesome. I feel famous.
So our idea for the Who Robin t-shirt is first one we're gonna do is we're gonna do a silhouette of Robin. And saying, Robin, Robin, who the heck is Robin?
Yeah.
And then next month we'll actually do a Robin shirt with your face, which I will
Dude,
definitely
I don't know about
wear.
that.
Because I can't imagine what people are going to say to me at the gym when they see me, or even when I'm boxing and they're trying to hit me, but they see Robin's face on my chest.
Hey,
right?
give me some phone numbers. I'll give you my phone.
All right. With that, for your buddy Eddie Buffalo and Sassy Sarah and Robin, the girl wonder, hey, if you like working with people that are just like you, we're the people to see. So tune in tomorrow. Like I said, Lori Steiner is going to be on. That's going to be our guest tomorrow. And I don't know if Donnie Lowe or Sassy Sarah is going to be on there, depending on their schedules. Because Donnie Lowe is super busy. He said he's dropping his daughter off for work. I think he's like Ubering or something. I think he's a Lyft driver or something in his part time. You know, is that a write off, Sassy Sarah?
It is if you turn it into a business.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in as always, and stay safe out there, guys. Take care.